This is not my first time in Australia. I studied in Sydney for 1 year in 2013 and fell in love with all kinds of Australian goodies. Sorry, I have a mic. So, daffodil buttered, flat white, and of course red wine. And this is red wine for our honorary judges. Sorry, you're taking us time. So here's what happened. Last week, I came to the convenience store near my apartment in Beijing and tried to grab a bottle of Australian wine. And here's what I found. No Australian wine, 8 bottles, no Australian wine. So I know that some of you may came over to say that we have the FTA. The 14 to 20% tariffs will be down to 0 in 4 years. But according to the Economist FTA survey, which Chris has already used just now, so I'm going to just shock you again with that number again. The average rate for FTA usage rate in Asia is 26%, and for Australia is 19%. So perhaps FTA doesn't necessarily mean opportunities or profits for businesses, especially small and medium-sized enterprises.
So why is this the case? Firstly, SMEs in general lack government support. Governments generally like to back low-risk big corporations. Secondly, from our research, we found that SMEs who are even willing to do business don't know where to start. They lack that first point of contact. Thirdly, FTAs can involve dense legal documents that are really hard to decipher and can be of quite high complexity for small and medium business owners. So consider this as an example. A small boutique South Australian winery who are producing some of the best in the world. However, they are unknown, and in particularly some of their carbon neutral wines are of great quality, and they are great match for China's Yunnan province cuisine. There's an estimated potential of $6 million in export potential. However, it has been unexplored, and this has easily tripled their current revenue. So what if? What if there's a solution which is a single curated online virtual meeting place that Australian SMEs can utilise to connect with their Chinese potential partners? This is the solution. This is Thousand Connect.
This is the landing page of Thousand Connect, a groundbreaking new virtual meeting place for Chinese and Australian small businesses. Our solution targets existing SMEs and future entrepreneurs. So for the millennial generation, we're building it to work well on both computer and mobile devices. Our senior software engineer has already developed the shell of a prototype website, which you can see here. What we envision is a one-stop shop for all of the information you need to connect with businesses across borders. Thousand Connect is a curated meeting place. It profiles and matches users according to their business needs. It contains a news aggregator, as well as additional information on laws, regulations and tariffs, trade finance options, upcoming events, and ways to connect with advisors and translators, all through this single portal. So Thousand Connect, it uniquely responds to a key market gap. So to be clear, we're not trying to replicate the work of DFAT or Austrade or other government agencies. What we are trying to do instead is to build a network that will aggregate the market power of thousands of SMEs so that their individual voices can no longer be ignored. So in the next 12 months, we'll be looking to hire a small team to build out the functionality of Thousand Connect and to start signing up users. Our website has a modular design so that in future years, we can adapt quickly to the needs of SMEs by adding more and more functions. What we need now is a first round of seed funding and sponsorship to get our idea off the ground. So China has just signed a free trade agreement with Korea, and more FTAs are in the pipeline. The time to act is now.
So I'll leave you with this catchphrase, or actually a Chinese proverb. 千里之行，始于足下. Journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. SMEs, this is your first step into your future endeavours with China. We encourage you to act now. The matter's urgent.
If I could please ask the judges to answer the questions.
Great presentation, really topical. I don't know if there's anyone in DFAT, from DFAT in this audience, but I'm sure they'd be interested in hearing, what you've got to offer. Just interested, who have you actually been talking to in terms of getting this idea up to date?
We've done a whole suite of research from professors of certain universities that have quite in-depth topical knowledge to, for example, a winery owner who actually currently is trying to export but is struggling because he's finding the distribution channels really difficult. We've talked to the services sector too. There is the potential, however, it's more of a long-term scheme. So this is something that I think we should highlight for the urgency in terms of the trade side of things. However, the services is a big potential as well.
Thanks.
I was just going to say, in terms of stakeholders, we have spoken to state reps from Austrade, DFAT, officers at the Beijing embassy, in both countries actually, yeah. And Christopher Finlay, professor at Adelaide Uni as well. So.
You've got me tantalisingly close to understanding how this all works, right? So where you took me further than the last two was I can actually imagine a wine business in Australia. I can imagine them having no understanding whatsoever of how a free trade agreement with China can help them. I can imagine this province in China where they would really have a good fit with this wine. Then what do you do? So how will you facilitate wine getting on the table in that province, and how will you make a business model around that?
Yeah, business model.
Well, I will read that, but it'd be nice to see the pitch.
Yeah, sure. So we use the wine industry, just to be clear, as an initial case study. So the virtual meeting place can be extended to other sectors if the wine industry is successful. The way we envisioned it is that we kind of aggregate all of these SMEs, wine owners, onto the virtual meeting place first of all, and then we'd have kind of that selling point that we have all this market power here.
What happens in the meeting point?
So they get free membership to this online virtual meeting place, and that's where they can start, looking at the information about Chinese laws and regulations and tariffs and so on. But then the main selling point of our meeting place is that we connect them with Chinese distributors and buyers. So once we have a sufficient scale to do that, then we go to the Chinese market and we sell out those buyers on the other end. So it's all about building those connections.
And you take it with you.
Initially, no, but into the future.